Good afternoon, folks. The great Matt Geib here once again with you on a balmy, kind of warm, late summer day, August 26th, Wednesday, in my office. And I wanted to come back again today and talk some more about programming yourself for success. Now, last week I had started to talk about this phrase from Charles F. Hano's work, The Master Key System, and I thought it'd be great to start out again and read that one more time. Thought is creative vibration, and the quality of conditions created will depend upon the quality of our thought. Because we cannot express powers which we do not possess. We must be before we can do, and we can do only to the extent to which we are, and so that what we do will necessarily coincide with what we are, and what we are depends upon what we think. I'm talking about programming yourself for success. We began on that the last time. Thought is creative vibration. What you think, we've talked about last week, it starts to start a process of creation. If it's a good thought, if it's a healthy thought, if it's a positive thought, it's going to start to move you in a positive direction. Conversely, if it's negative, you're going to attract negative into your life. It's kind of a principle of, one of the prime principles of the law of attraction. We must be, and that's what I'm on a journey to do. I'm on a journey to be or become. That's what I'm working on by programming myself. Before we can do. See, so many people out there, we talked about it last time, they want to do. They'd like to be the next Alex Rodriguez, all-star baseball player, or the next Tiger Woods, all-star world's best golfer. But they haven't really become that. They haven't prepared their mind and then worked it out and gone through all the practice to become that. So they could never, because their mind is not right, they could never become that. We must be before we can do. We can only do to the extent of which we are. So that's what we're talking about. How do we become who we are? By what we program ourselves with. And he goes on to say, so what we do will necessarily coincide with what we are. In other words, whatever you're doing now, it could be related with who you are as a person. Whether you're the President of the United States, Tiger Woods, or just a factory worker, it's because of who you are. You've risen to that level in society, so to speak. And so what we do necessarily coincides with what we are, and what we are depends on what we think. And that's what I was talking about last time. And I thought it'd be great today just to specifically show you the methods that I use to program myself. Very simple, very elementary. A grade school child, 5th grader, could do this, and I would think it'd be great if a youngster started to do this. I'm just going to show you a really elementary lesson today, and then when we get together for the 3rd session, I'm going to talk some specific thoughts on different principles that I've learned. So how do I program myself? Well, I said this wrong because I get excited. Last week I talked about, I call them 5x3 index cards, but they're really 3x5 cards. And these are pulled out, these are sayings pulled out from a lot of the great things that I read because I'm always reading. And I take these around in my spare time. The job that I have now affords me a lot of time just to read. So I read these and I keep them up in my office and I look at them and I ponder them. That's one way. That's number one. 3x5 cards, which leads to the next thing where I get these quotes, are my books. And if you looked in my office here, if I swung the camera around, you'd see 2 bookshelves. I've got a bookshelf downstairs in my laundry room and one also in the front room. And I counted up the other night, I have over 700 books in my library. Now, they're not all self-help, but probably a third of them are, such as the Bible. That's how I start out my day. I read the Bible. Then I read things like Think and Grow Rich. Here's a great book that I picked up this year. I'm always reading new books. The 4-8 Principle by Tommy Newberry. Great book on gratitude. And The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. I've read this before. I'm getting into it again. I'm going to work with some coaches on that. And a religious book or a Christian book, How to Stop the Pain, about dealing with your emotions. So I look at books. I'm a voracious reader. I used to kind of laugh when I heard Joe Schroeder say he reads 4 or 5 books at a time. You know, several pages each night in each one. because I kind of do the same thing. Another way is through audio and video. Here's my M5 player. It plays video and audio. There's some Napoleon Hill videos on here. Here is, I recorded different phone calls and different audios that I've heard on here on my, what do they call that, digital recorder. I keep that with me. I plug it into my ear. I have a CD player. I got over 70 CDs. I'm listening to them over and over again. That's another way. And then one of the things I've really started to do, I've done it for a couple of years now, but I've really started to do it just about every day the last month, and that's journal. These are my lifeline. These connect me to what direction I'm going, move me forward in that direction, and they let me really clarify my thoughts and my purpose in life. Sometimes I readjust it. My gratitude journal, what I'm thankful for. I start the day out. First I read a little of scriptures. Then I start the day out and I put down specifically, even if it's only a sentence or two, what I'm grateful for. Then I journal in this one, my reflection journal. It's got my business plans in it. It has my life plans in it. It has my dreams, different things that I think about, people that I think about, positive things, sometimes the negative things, so I can work them out, so I can come up with a plan to make my life better. That's number 4. Number 5, something that Joe Schroeder taught me based on my reading and my journaling, my affirmation card. Keep this in my wallet. When I'm at the store in line or at the bank in line, I pull this out and I read it. Got about 8 different affirmations on here. My first one says, my first one I'll read to you. Moment by moment, God is giving me a spirit of love, power, and sound mind, which eliminates all my fears. That's my number 1 affirmation. There's 8 more on here. Sometimes I'll change that. Number 6, based on the Master Key, which is another work that I've been reading. I pulled this off the internet and printed it. Hamill, at the end of his book, at the end of each week, he has an exercise in meditation for you to do. I try and do these meditations every day of that week. Sometimes it's just stilling your mind and concentrating and allowing yourself to receive what the Infinite Creator has for you. Concentrate on harmony. That was in week 14. Week 7, visualize your friend, somebody that's a close friend of yours, and tell them a story. See yourself doing that. That's the next one of the other things I do. And then the other thing that's kind of incorporated with the journal, and I've done this several ways, is I have a business planner. I sometimes have used a weekly schedule. Joe Schroeder taught me this to show what I am doing and what I'm not doing, and he stole this from the great Benjamin Franklin, and that's a time recorder. Record every few 15-minute, half-hour increments what you've done in your business, what you're doing. And this will really tell on you to see if you're productive or not productive. So again, folks, I've been talking about programming myself for success. I got about 7 or 8 things here. Maybe you can email me at mattguide55@yahoo.com if you have any ideas. I'd love to hear it. mattguide55@yahoo.com. Number 1, 3x5 cards. Number 2, books. Number 3, audios and videos. Number 4, I journal to clear myself, to clear my mind. Number 5, affirmation card, to put into my subconscious the positive things that I want to create in my life. Number 6, exercises of meditation, where I just sit and I'm still for at least a 15-minute period. And number 7, a business planner. And then hopefully from there, we begin to take steps of action. But first you have to start with the mind. Before you can do, you have to be, and be is based on your